So yesterday I finished Wanted by the Biker, right? I don't have my glasses on. I'm pretty sure that's Wanted by the Biker. And then last night I finished Werewolf Villain. And Beatrix Arden is definitely a spicy writer. I haven't read a Beatrix Arden book that I didn't like, so I finished that one. And then the other day I finished Chained Omega, another Beatrix Arden book, and I read that one. That was my first Beatrix Arden book that made me go, yes, she's it. But yeah, during the weekend I finished this one. And what other book did I finish last week? From last week till now, there was another one. Yeah, I finished Bound by the Lumberjacks and Milking the Straight Boy. I'm pretty sure there's another one. Hold on. Now, I spoke about this one in my vlog, but I only spoke about the first 3 stories. So this one, the first 2 stories, the dialogue is really, really dry, but the spicy scenes, the spicy scene was the best in the first one, in the last 2 stories. And there's a total of 5 stories. But altogether, it is a good book. It's just that once you have really good dialogue in one story and then you go to the next story and the dialogue is not that great, but the spicy scenes are great, and then it keeps going back and forth like that, ping-ponging. So, but that aside, they're still really good stories, all 5 of them. And then I read this one. I also read this one before. I read quite a few Charlie Cox, I think a total of 4 Charlie Cox stories that involve lumberjacks, but I did recently read this one last week and it was good. I don't know, I just felt like, I get it's a short story, it's a novella, but it was missing something. Like at the end, it just felt like it was just abrupt. And then okay, Chained Omega was good because she has, I think she has 2 different Omega series. I read the other one. Hold on. So this is the other Omega stories, and the thing about her Omega stories, which is something similar to what I've written in one of my books, is she makes the Omegas male, but they're not gay, which is fine. I love those gay ones with the Omegas, but this one, he's still there. The female is the alpha, and the male is the Omega. And in this one, it was like enemies to lovers. And the other one is similar to enemies and lovers, but in this one it was a whole series from high school into adulthood, right? So, but in the other one, the one I recently read, Chained Omega, where is it? I'm always losing my way with this because I can't see. Oh, there it is. In this one, Chained Omega, again, they didn't start off loving each other. It was actually an interesting twist on how they started. They started, she's an alpha, but the alphas in the world are all hiding from the Omegas, that's the twist, because in most Omega books, the alphas run everything, the Omegas are hiding. Even my book, I have a book on Inkit where the Omegas are hiding from the alphas. But in hers, the Omegas have the power, but yet they're still submitting to the alphas, which is such a great way to play with the power dynamics. And it's basically like a switch. Like they have these titles, they have these roles, but at the same time they're not really falling into these roles per se. He's Omega. He had the power, the money, but he gave it to her. He submitted to her while still fighting himself, even though he knew deep down he wanted to submit to her, but something in him wouldn't allow him to submit to her. But eventually he does. And at the same time, she submits to him. She gives in. So now there's like, they've given each other a balance of power. So I really love the way she wrote that one. And because I mean, the other Omega series I read from her had me in tears. The third book, a tearjerker. The first and second book, pure spice. The third book, a tearjerker. And by the 4th book of the Omega series, you don't even want it to end. Beatrix Arden is one of my favorites. And so I read that. And then what? So next I'm either gonna read the 4th book in this series. Now this series, the first book caught me. I was hooked. By the second one, I don't know, it just like, I don't like the way it was going. I don't like when the females in most stories are too useless. Like I get not everybody's gonna be strong and ready to fight, but for me, she was just too useless, and they fell into such an obvious trap. I hate when they fall into obvious traps, but this is still a good read. The first one was the best. But before I get to that one, I'm gonna read this one. This one is one of the novellas I picked to get out of my reading slump, and it has me, and I love it already, and I don't even want it to be short anymore. And next, I'm going to read this one. I'm going to put the other 3 books I've been reading on hold. That Mary B. Morrison book, that I can't remember the name of it, Lost or something, the Teenage Rebellion book, and I can't remember the name of the other book either. That's how come I can never reread books, because I never remember the title. I'll see a book, get into the story, read it too fast, and then forget the title most of the time. I only remember the twist or the end. I've done that since I was a kid. There's so many books I wish I could reread that I borrowed from the library or that I lost the book, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember the title or any of the characters' names. So I'm gonna read this now, that Mafia Daddy book, and then I'm also gonna read this.